Alright, here's the deal. I believe it's possible for you to download Cabinet Vision and start on your very first job all on the first day. Now I'm going to take you through it. Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Cabinet Vision Made Simple, and my name is Spencer Baker. If you're not familiar with me, I am a woodworker and a Cabinet Vision user, and I'm here to try and make your transition into the Cabinet Vision world just a little bit simpler. I got a lot of videos that hopefully can provide some value to you as you move into this world so that you can make sense of some of the processes, and it will save you a lot of time. With that said, today, I wanted to take us through kind of a crash course in Cabinet Vision. If you are a brand new user and you've never used the software before, this is going to be your 5-cent tour to kind of learn the ins and outs of Cabinet Vision so that you can start drawing immediately. Now, by no means is this a detailed end-all be-all training session. In no way could I get through all of these details in this short of a video. That would take a ton of time, and as I always say, you can never have too much Cabinet Vision training. So what this is basically an explanation of what Cabinet Vision is, what it does, and what it has the possibility to do for you. So with that said, let's go ahead and open up the software and start our tour. So again, this is assuming that you've already downloaded the software and gotten through all of the installation stuff. If you're curious about how to do that, I've got another video posted on my channel. Feel free to watch that one. But in the meantime, here is what our main splash screen on Cabinet Vision looks like. You've got an area for new jobs. You've got a place to open all of your old jobs, and most of the recent ones you've been working on will be right there on the left side, and then the folders where you save them will be on the right side. Up here at the top, you've got all these different catalogs, and I'm not going to get into too many details here, but it is the catalog that houses every single part that your cabinets would use. So basically the software lets you drag and drop cabinets, and then you can parametrically stretch them, scale them, change parts, customize them, do anything that you wanted to do with that cabinet, and the brain in the software does all of the work to get you cut lists and nests for a router or renderings. All of that is done within Cabinet Vision. It's really, really helpful. But for the skeleton part of our cabinets, that's what you would use this main splash screen for. So these catalogs up here have all of the parts that you use, all of the materials that you make your cabinets out of. Then the material schedules is how you put what together. So let's say all of the drawers that I use are made of hardwood for my cabinets, but all of the cases are done with 3/4 birch plywood. I can go in here and I can select what finish I want to do, so let's call it birch, and I can make the outside case birch plywood, but I can change my drawers to be something completely different. That's what you would do from within here. Same with the face frames. Same with doors. It has a place where you have created a bunch of doors that already exist, or you can create your own doors if there's a custom door you're trying to do that you haven't done before. All of that is done within here. But for the case of this demonstration, we're just going to start a job. All right, the new job is opened up here. So at the very beginning, you can add different notes about your job. You can do the client's address, all of that fun stuff. You can name the rooms, you can do the finishes. But the most important thing to set up is how you want to build your cabinets. So every style of construction has different norms for their cabinetry. I would say commercial typically has full overlay doors where everything kind of covers the box up, and it uses a lot of laminate. Residential might use face frame, or it might have inset cabinets. All of that is fine. It doesn't really matter to us because we have all of these different construction methods that are set up in here. So you've got some that are defaults and then some that you can create along the way. So essentially, Cabinet Vision can build everything however you want it to. For this sake, let's go ahead and go with face frame cabinets because we'll say this is a residential job. We'll go to our materials. Everything is set to be paint grade right now, which is okay. Our hardware, we can have drawer pulls, We can have knobs, we can have nothing. I'm gonna go with brass knobs just so that we have something to show up. And then right now it is set to just be slab doors. But I can go in here and I can do raised panel doors. Let's go ahead and just do a square raised panel. And now everything is automatically shifted for all of these doors. But if, say, I don't want the drawer to look like that, I want the drawer to just be, you know, a normal slab, I can go down to the drawer and go to the style, and I'll change that one to a slab. No biggie. Now we're done. So we'll go ahead and hit OK. And now we are officially in the job area. So once you're in the job area, everything is based off of walls. Even if your cabinet isn't going to have walls, you have to have something for the cabinet to have reference off of. So essentially what I'm doing here is just building some walls. But if we were going to do an island over here, we'd have to do another wall here, and we'd call that wall a peninsula, which basically just means it's going to be hidden. No big deal. Pretty easy to do. Once we're in here, we're going to go to our objects. Go to custom cabinets, base cabinets, and then we can insert whatever cabinets we want. I always recommend, if your house has corners, start with whatever base cabinet you're going to do in those corners, because those can be a little bit tricky to get them snugged in how you want. Once you're there, I always grab my appliances next. That way you can see how everything snaps. So I'm going to appliances, I'm going to go to refrigerator, and then I have different refrigerator options here. So I have, you can see it down here at the bottom corner, all these different options. Some of them have ice makers. Just find something close to what you're kind of looking for your design. It doesn't have to be anything. You can change the shape and size of these as we go by clicking them and then going over here to the left, where you can change the width and the height and the depth, all of that. So I'm just going to leave it standard for the moment. Once we're done with that, we'll go to return again, and we can go to objects and cabinets, base cabinets, and we can start essentially dropping in whatever we want. So, depending on how you build your cabinets, maybe you build your cabinets as one giant long cabinet, or maybe you build them as each individual box. It doesn't really matter to the software because you can stretch and scale whatever you want. So, we're going to take this cabinet here, and instead of it just being a bunch of modular 24-inch cabinets, which very rare that everybody has the exact same size cabinet, we can either change the width over here by selecting, I don't know, let's call this an 80-inch cabinet. We type 80, we hit enter, and it's going to ask us which direction we want it to stretch. Do we want it to go over here to the right or to the left, or do we want it to be centered? We're going to go left. Boom. Since it automatically has gone over a certain length that was set up in the software, it split that one cabinet into two cabinets. So it automatically will do that math for you. But if you don't want that and you want to be able to do this yourself, you simply double click the cabinet, and then you go to your section view, and then you can delete this whole thing out. Delete was right up there at the top. Once you do that, let's say you wanted this to still be evenly split, but you wanted it to be 3 cabinets instead of 2. We'll take our vertical split button, we'll click this, and it will give you an option for as many equal openings as you want. So I'm going to do 3 equal openings, and I want all of them to have a drawer and a set of doors. Once we do that, it has automatically defaulted to giving you equal distances, drawers, and doors, and this is all going to have cut lists that are ready to go for you. So you can click this door, and let's say we wanted it to actually be a pair of doors. We can go over here, click pair of doors, And now, boom, it's a pair of doors. Over here, let's make it a pair of doors. Boom, pair of doors. Now, let's say this middle section, we decide we want to change this up. And we want to make this a drawer stack. Same thing, we have this big open space. We can delete things out, we can add things in. But we're going to go ahead with that horizontal multi-split again. And we're going to say this middle is going to have 4 drawers in it. It automatically evenly distributes the dimensions right here on these bottom 3, but leaves that top drawer even along the top. Super nice to have so that you don't have to think about all of this. The whole key for the software is to remove the amount of thinking. Whenever I first started doing cabinets, I was drawing with 3D modeling software, and it just took so dang long because I was individually drawing every single part. And anytime I wanted to change something, I had to redo all my math. This software allows you to parametrically stretch and scale the cabinet, and it will automatically get all of the dimensions for every part taken care of along the way. So it's really, really helpful. So let's say these are the cabinets that you were tasked to build, and this is done. All right, so let's say this was the job that you were tasked to build, and it is everything that you needed it to be. The first thing we're going to want to do before we start building it is we're probably going to want to submit some drawings to our customer. So within the software, you have 3 different views that you can look at. You've got this elevation view, you've got the 3D view that allows you to look at it from a more cartoony perspective, and then you have the plan view that lets you look at it from above. In any of these cases, you can right-click and you can send to drawings. Since I have the 2D CAD option on my software, I also have a live drawing, which means as I make changes, my drawings make changes too. If I didn't want that and I just wanted it to be a static picture so that I could do options for the customers, then I would just send a static picture. But in this case, I'll go ahead and send a live drawing right here of this overview. I'll also go to the elevation view where I can switch between my walls up here at the top. You can also look at the back and front of the walls right there. Just little tips just in case you need these to reference if you're watching this video and you already have the software. Then you can right click, let's do a live drawing there, and let's do a static drawing just so we can see the difference. 3D view, we can right click and go to our live drawings. All right, so now we can go to our drawings page, and I can right click in here and add in a title block. Whatever title block I want to do, let's go large format this way. I really like the way it looks. We're going to go with this. So then from there, I can drag and drop all of these different plan views, elevation views, 3D views. I can scale them. So everything's in here so the customer can see exactly what they're getting. If there was going to be any additional notes I needed to make, I can simply do a leader wherever it's going to be, and I can draw that out, call it good, and then I can add a text box, and I'm going to put floating shelves. They'll also have some floating shelves up there, and I'll draw those later. I just wanted to give you an example of what notes could look like. And so that was through the 2D CAD button right there. I hit CAD, and then all of a sudden I got all these CAD tools. Now, granted, if you want the ability to have these CAD tools in the plan view and the elevation view, you have to get the 2D CAD module added onto your software. If you just have it on the drawings page, you can do that. But you won't be able to have it on all these pages where it actually sticks to it unless you have the 2D CAD module. So we've got our drawing set up. We've submitted it to the customer. Now we're going to go to our reports and look at a cut list for everything. So once you're in the report center, depending on whether you have the reporting module on or not, it may look a little bit different, but you have these various options. You have order entry, which allows you to drag and drop cabinets in here so that you can create cut lists without actually having to draw cabinets. You've got the bid center so that you can orchestrate a bid for your job. You've got the report center, which is what we're going to look at here in just a second, so you can look at cut lists. Then you have plan and elevation sheets so that you can look at everything up close and make sure you get everything signed off on. Assembly sheets for your shop so that they can see what they're putting together. And then a part sheet for each individual part so that you could see where all of the holes would need machining to if you were doing it manually, or so that you can double check everything once it's coming off of the router, just depending on what you want to do. I also have the ability to send to AlphaCam on my license by using the 2AC module. But we're going to look in the report center. Once you're in the report center, you'll have the ability to look at a total job summary, which tells me all the material that I'm going to use for this particular job. The default does not have any pricing added in there, so you're not going to see any of that unless you add that back on that main splash screen. You can attach prices to everything, and you can kind of get a rough cost estimate of what the whole job is going to be. Super helpful. So what you're looking at here is a summary of all the materials that are used for this job. As you can see, it counts up all the hardware that you've got, how many hinge plates you need, how many drawer slides you'd need to buy. It's got all of the different wood for the drawers as well as the case. All of that is just called out right here, and you can attach that price. Really helpful to have. And then you can print all of this out. Now, let's say you had a CNC machine and you wanted to be able to run this entire job. Same thing, we would go to the S2M Center, where it creates a part list and then nests the entire job in every individual part to reduce as much waste as humanly possible and be able to create the closest cuts it can get within your router's parameters. So I'm going to go ahead and run it on my default router here just to show you what it would look like if you were going to do it with a CNC machine. You can also optimize this to be used for a table saw if you wanted to be able to see how many long cuts and how many short cuts. It's really, really nice to have. So now here in the S2M Center, we can see all of our different materials that are used for this job over on the left side, and we can click through them to see if all of the dimensions line up how they were supposed to, and if all the nests look how we want them to look. This one has 4 sheets, and up here I can select between those sheets, looking at the names of each part and all of the dimensions that are called out. Once everything's good, I can either simulate the machining and look at that, or I can just go ahead and run the code. So I could hit run, but I'm not going to because I'm not actually set up right now. So we can cancel out, and that would get us from beginning to end drawing a job up in Cabinet Vision. Again, not high detail, just demonstrating some of the features and benefits of the software and just a rough breeze through. I think I'm going to do this again from a different perspective, maybe with some shaped cabinets, but let me know in the comments if there's anything you want to see specifically that I can make a video for. I'd be happy to do it. With that, I'm so glad that you guys are tuned in. If you like what I'm throwing at you, be sure to like and subscribe. And if you have any questions at all, feel free to email me at cabinetvisionmadesimple@gmail.com. If you haven't watched any of my videos yet, feel free to click my channel and start watching those right now. And in the meantime, here is a video of 2 cats playing the piano. Thanks, and we'll see you on the next one.